There are over 150 games dropping on Steam this year in 2024. In this video, I'm gonna tell you about every single one of these games so you don't miss them. So let's not wait, let's dive right in. The 150 games dropping on Steam this year. Enshrouded is a game that's releasing on Steam on January 24th, and it's a game that is very much like Valheim. Like a Dragon: Infinite Wealth is an action RPG game releasing on January 25th. Unforetold Witchstone is a CRPG game releasing also on January 25th. Tekken 8 releases on January 26th and is the newest installment from the Tekken fighting series that we all know and love. Palworld is releasing at some point in January, and it's basically an open world Pokemon style game. Suicide Squad: Kill the Justice League is a co-op action game releasing on February 2nd. Also releasing on February 2nd, we have Persona 3 Reload, which is a remake from the original PS3 title. Helldivers 2 is a third-person shooter releasing on February 8th. Banishers: Ghosts of New Eden is an RPG game releasing on February 13th. Ultros is a psychedelic old-school platformer style game that's coming to us on February 13th as well. Solium Infernum is a political strategy game dropping on February 14th. Pacific Drive is a science fiction action driving style game releasing on February 22nd. Nightingale is an early access crafting survival style game dropping also on February 22nd. Promenade is a cartoon-style platformer game that we could look forward to on February 23rd. Wrath: Aeon of Ruin is a really dark, bloody Quake-style retro shooter releasing on February 27th. Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons remake is dropping on February 28th. This is an action game. Star Wars: Dark Forces Remaster is a first-person Star Wars game also releasing on February 28th. Felvedek is a JRPG game that's releasing at some time in February. Islands of Insight is an open-world puzzle game also releasing at some point in February. Expeditions, a Mud Runner game, is all about trucks getting dirty and driving up in the woods and releases on March 5th. Life by You is simply a life simulating game like The Sims, also releasing on March 5th. Crown Wars: The Black Prince is a medieval action game releasing on March 7th. Zoria: Age of Shattering is a fantasy RPG game releasing also on March 7th. Homeworld 3 is a science fiction real-time strategy game releasing on March 8th. Alone in the Dark is a psychological horror game releasing on March 20th. Dragon's Dogma 2 is an open-world RPG game releasing on March 21st. Acolyte of the Altar is a card-style action game coming some point in March. Lightyear Frontier is a single-player experience also releasing at some point in March. Europia is an exploration adventure game releasing on April 16th. Tales of Zanzarazao is an action-adventure game releasing on April 23rd. Black Myth: Wukong is an action RPG game releasing in August. Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2 is what we have come to expect from the Warhammer franchise, and this one releases on September 9th. If you guys like these kinds of lists, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out, because I bring these videos to you every single day. Now, the rest of the games on today's list are releasing in 2024 on Steam, but they don't yet have a release date. We're going to start out this list with Alliance of the Sacred Sons, which is a turn-based strategy game. Aloft is an open-world sandbox game dropping this year. Ambulance Life, a paramedic simulator, is obviously a simulating life-saving game. Angerfoot is a first-person shooter. Ara: History Untold is a strategy-style game with a heavy focus on historical events. Ark 2 is an open-world survival game that we have all been waiting for. Ascent of Ashes is a base-building strategy game. Avowed is a first-person RPG. Baby Steps is straight up a walking simulator. Paladins is a co-op open-world RPG. Beastie Ball is a Pokemon-style collection game that has a heavy focus on volleyball. Bellwright is an open-world medieval strategy game. Beyond These Stars is a city builder. Blue Protocol is an MMORPG. Botany Manor is another walking simulator. Bounty Star is an action-adventure third-person game. Breachway is a new card game based in space. Broken Roads is a post-apocalyptic RPG. Bugaboo Pocket is a creature collector game. Capes is a turn-based strategy game. The Casting of Frank Stone is a psychological horror game. Corpus Edax is a first-person single-player RPG game. Crashlands 2 is an open-world crafting RPG-style game. Creature Keeper is a collection-style RPG game. Critter Cove is a sailing base builder style game. Demon School is a turn-based strategy game. Diesel Legacy: The Brazen Age is a 2 vs 2 2D fighting game. Distant Bloom is a strategy exploration style game. Duck Detective is just that. It's a detective figure-it-out mystery style game. Dungeons of Hinterberg is an action RPG. Earthblade is a platformer-style Metrovania game. Earth Defense Force 6 is a third-person shooter. Earth from Another Sun is a sandbox MMORPG. Echoes of the Plum Grove is a farming simulator. Fields of Mystria is also a farming simulator. The First Descendant is a looter shooter. Flintlock: The Siege Down is an action RPG. Frostpunk 2 is a city management city builder game. Galactic Care is a simulation-style medical game. Gatekeeper is a top-down shooter. G.I. Joe: Wrath of Cobra is an action beat-em-up game. Gray Zone Warfare is a military shooter. Greedfall 2: The Dying World is an open-world RPG. Harold Halibut is a walking simulator. Horizon Forbidden Quest is a single-player adventure game. Indica is a third-person adventure game. Iron Meat is a Contra-style platformer. Killer Clowns from Outer Space is a horror action game. Light Odyssey is a hack-and-slash style atmospheric game. Little Nightmares 3 is another atmospheric adventure game. Lost Isle is an open-world survival action game. Lost Records Bloom and Rage is a mystery game. The Lost Wild is a dinosaur horror survival game. Mech Warrior 5 Clans is a first-person mech shooter. Men of War 2 is a single-player action real-like war game. Mika and the Witch's Mountain is a sandbox-style fantasy game. Mirthwood is a sandbox fantasy farming game. Nivalis is a cyberpunk-style game. Paper Trail is a puzzle folding game. Penny's Big Breakaway is a 3D platformer. Pepper Grinder is a 2D platformer. The Plucky Squire is also an action platformer. Rika is a spooky base building game. Replaced is a science fiction 2D platformer. Republic of Pirates is a city builder. Senua's Saga Hellblade 2 is an action game. Skate Story 2 is an atmospheric style skateboarding game. Snufkin Melody of Moomin Valley is a hand-drawn atmospheric adventure game. Songs of Conquest is a turn-based strategy RPG game. Songs of Silence is a real-time strategy game. Still Wakes the Deep is a horror action game. Stormgate is a strategy game. Streets of Rogue 2 is an open-world sandbox game. Summer House is a casual city-building style game. Thrasher is an atmospheric racing game. Tiny Glade is a relaxing, open sandbox game. Trash Goblin is another relaxing simulation-style game. Tribes 3 Rivals is a strategy team-building game. Unrailed 2 Back on Track is a co-op railroad-focused game. Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 is an RPG bloody vampire game. Voyagers of Nirna is an open-world crafting survival game. Wild Bastards is a strategy shooter game with a very atmospheric look. And Windblown is an action roguelike game. Let me know what games you're most looking forward to that are dropping on Steam now. I can't wait to see what you guys are looking forward to most.